Hello to everyone. My goal today is to paint a vision of Latin America as an AI-powered society and to show you why this possibility is real today. But first, I want to show you some paintings, all right? Do you agree? Perhaps you recognize that one, right? It looks like Osvaldo Guayasamin's self-portrait. However, that just cannot be true, since he wouldn't have been able to paint myself as well. Whenever it works, there you go. Nice picture. Yes, you may have figured out by now. Osvaldo Guayasamin did not paint these paintings, nor did a master replicator. They were actually created by an artificial intelligence software that learned from Osvaldo Guayasamin, that learned its creativity, its art, its style, and then replicated it when creating these portraits. So let's take, for instance, US President Donald Trump, all right? And let's make the AI learn from Osvaldo Guayasamin's El Grito whenever it appears. There you go. Sounds like a pretty natural fit, right? And so what we end up is with, Donald Trump, painted by Osvaldo Guayasamin. Artificial intelligence is already part of our society, and it matters so deep as our culture, right? What I want us to do for the next 10 minutes is to paint together the picture of our future and to ponder about our role in it, because being AI ready today is a synonym of being 21st century ready. Artificial intelligence is essentially a type of software that aims to replicate our human cognitive capabilities, such as intelligence. And since intelligence could be defined as the ability to solve complex problems, we could think of AI as our external tool for problem solving, a tool that is born very much like a baby. And the same way a baby learns from its interactions with the world, the AI learns from its interactions with the data. And in pretty simple terms, it kind of like works like this, all right? So the first thing that we need is an algorithm like this one. That's a neural net. That algorithm, it's a model, it's an equation, it's a formula. That is the AI itself. And this one is of the type called deep learning, which is basically the greatest breakthrough in the field. And what it essentially does, it mimics how our brain works. It's all of these neurons connected between each other, passing information along like forward and backward. Yes. But it needs data in order to understand the world. Like this data set, composed by millions of images, that is going to be fed into the algorithm. And then the algorithm is going to require a powerful computer to process all this information. All of that in order to probably come up with a prediction, like whether you guys are happy or sad. And since this is a beautiful day and we're on the TEDx, let's say we're all happy, right? And in this way, we have created marvelous applications, such as the fundamentally important task of recognizing cats in YouTube. I don't know why people like this, but it's been a boom in the internet. Or systems that are able to recognize people's mood, like mine in this case. We actually created this software at Rocker, a company builder and venture capital fund that I work with. And it's probably better than some of my friends at recognizing if I'm happy or not, really. And also what I could think, it's one of the coolest things that I've seen out there. The possibility to play the guitar while a car drives itself. That is amazing. Literally, Lex Freeman and his team at MIT just made my dream come true. Now I can totally picture myself in the traffic jam, no problem. But really, the expected impact of artificial intelligence is great. It's totally unexpected. It's unprecedented. Today, the US and China are leading this pack. And they are investing a vast amount of resources on it. They are betting their future on it. And why wouldn't they? Artificial intelligence has been called the new electricity. Yes. And it is expected to add nearly $16 trillion to the world economy by year 2030. That's just a little bit over a decade from now. And if that is the case, I cannot help but wonder, what is it going to be our role, our position in it? as Latin America, as Latinos. You know, last year 2017, Latin American startups raised around $1.1 billion in funding. That may seem like a big number, but actually it's not that much. If you compare it, it's less than 1% of total funding for startups. And if you dive deeper into startups in the field of artificial intelligence, it is even lower. Today, as a world, we collect 2.5 quintillion bytes of data every single day. Yeah, every single day, not a year, every single day. And we expect to need 2.7 million data scientists out there. And most of that activity is happening in the US, China, Europe. So it doesn't seem that encouraging, right? However, and this is the fundamental part of this talk, there is no fundamental reason for Latin America to be excluded from the AI revolution. And let me tell you why. Because essentially we need three things, right? The algorithm, the data, and computational power. Now, believe it or not, you and I have access to the very same algorithms that Google and all those big tech giants in Silicon Valley have, and all those fancy universities have. Why? Because now we live in a world where the tech community is open source, where the big tech giants have taken an approach in which they want to become sort of like the grid that is going to empower all this new technological revolution. And we have access mostly for free to these algorithms. The very same ones. They're not different ones. So if today we have access to those algorithms for free, what may matter the most is the data. What data we can collect. And yes, we still lag behind in terms of data collection as a region. However, most AI applications require specific data for that market. What I mean by this is I want you to picture a self-driving car, right? For a self-driving car to learn to drive itself in the streets of Silicon Valley is one thing, but coming to the streets of Quito, whoa, that's totally different, right? That's different even for humans. And I'm not even gonna get into the streets of Guayaquil, that's a totally different story. That's not even human. And if that is the case, if we have the algorithms, we can collect the data, then we need computational power. But we have that as well. Today, AI entrepreneurs, they are not required to train that on their own personal laptops. And they don't have to build massive data centers, buildings of data centers. Not at all. They just can connect to the cloud, pay for the computational power that they use, and that's it. Much cheaper and scalable. And that is how we've arrived to the age of implemented AI. An age where the subtle difference between innovation and invention matters a lot. Because traditionally, the creation of wealth, the creation of power, the creation of money, basically, depended a lot on what you can invent in your backyard, what your team at your own labs could create. Kind of like the pharmaceutical industry, right? But today is a different world. The main driver today is actually innovation, which is basically the process of taking whatever is already invented, go apply it, go solve massive challenges. That is the world that we live in today. But yeah, we still face some challenges in this. This is not easy. We need to still train all those data scientists that are going to be able to implement this technology, right? But there's some good news as well. Today, a handful of average data scientists could easily outperform the greatest genius in the field. It's like any one of those physicists around Latin America could be better than Einstein itself. That is how it works today. If those scientists have enough data and a compelling use case. And of course, we need our business people to understand this new mindset and to become data-driven. And yeah, we need a little bit of help from our politicians, that wouldn't hurt. But what we need the most is our leaders. And by leaders, I mean the leader that resides in all of us. Because artificial intelligence is going to change every single industry, no matter what. And not only that, it is probably the greatest tool out there to solve our major challenges. So let's think about this. What if we could save the more than 130,000 lives currently being taken away in our roads by introducing self-driving cars to the region, by making them a reality? What if we could create a personalized and tailored education for our children in all of our countries by allowing AI to understand their learning curves, each individual one? What if we could use AI to come up with new and better ways to assess credit risk, hence providing loans to the people that may require it the most, our micro-entrepreneurs in our neighborhoods? What if we could fight climate change and preserve our fragile ecosystems by allowing AI to track, monitor, and perhaps prevent all those factors that affect them? What if we could automatize the routinary and boring parts of our daily lives, and instead we can focus on what really matters? Our creativity, our passion, our humanity, and yes, our love. And I know this is not a simple task, this is not easy, this is a challenge, this is a complex endeavor. But today, we have a possibility. And that may be the only thing that we need. And I know this is true because I'm standing here today. So let's pause here for a minute, all right? And let's imagine that we can get back more than 100 years ago. So it's Ecuador 1900s or even way before. Do you really think that an average kid from Ecuador, no major political ties, could have access to the greatest technological breakthrough in the era? Do you really think that anyone could be part of this electrification of Latin America back then? No, of course not. That word didn't exist before. So if someone would have told me that, I would have thought, what? What are you speaking about? You're crazy, right? But today's a different world. The reality today is that I'm standing here not as a PhD out of MIT, Harvard, Stanford, or any of these fancy universities. I'm standing here just as a regular guy with tremendous drive and the purpose of guiding and building the future. As a matter of fact, I don't even hold an engineering degree. Yeah. The way that I started learning about artificial intelligence was basically by spending countless hours online, just studying it, understanding it, reading about it, mastering its craft, understanding the intuition behind it, just spending hours in it. And also, I am grateful that I have been able to surround myself with the people whose vision I admire by creating startup communities like this one, like Startup Grind, or by creating startups and exponential organizations with Rocker. The tools, the mindset are already out there. We just need to tap into them. We need to embrace them and go create something. That is the world that we live in right now. So if today someone tells me that, I don't know, wants to change the world, and he or she wants access to all these fancy tools and magical technological breakthroughs, I would rather say or think, why not? Why not? Today, we have been presented with the canvas of our future. And what it may matter even more is that today, we have the possibility to take the wheel on this ride and to make Latin America whatever we want, to solve our challenges, and to make Latin America an AI-powered society. So thank you very much.